Hello there folks, and welcome back to another speed paint video. Just like pretty much everyone else this summer, I've been playing Uma Musume. And it's a very fun game. A few years back I watched season 1 of the anime around when it first came out, along with my girlfriend and her anime club, and I really enjoyed it. I thought these little gay horses were so fun, and I thought their designs were really charming. And then, fast forward a few years, and now the game is out for an English audience. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really like Alcondor Pasa, Symboli Rudolph, and Agnes Tachyon. Those are probably my top 3 favorites. But honestly, I think they're all very charming characters. Shout out Vodka for having the gender of all time. Anyway, these characters are all very interesting. I really got to know them in the anime. I've been rewatching it with my sister and watching all the stuff I hadn't seen yet. And it's been a lot of fun. But there's something that only exists in the game that isn't really represented in the anime or the side media. And that's the mob Uma Musume. Which is to say, the NPCs that were in-house generated that participate in races when there aren't enough main characters. They are very weird. I feel like they have very strange looking little awkward faces, but they have really weird little names too. I believe the process for these is that they are randomly generated in-house by Cygames, and then they just ported these characters into the game. So it's not like they're randomly generating a girl every time you enter a race, but instead, back at the studio, they generated a bunch of these, and then since assigned them attributes and other stuff, so that way they will appear in the games. Anyway, they're very interesting to me because some of them have really cool names that really inspired me. Some of them have designs that are like obviously they're supposed to look less important than the actual playable characters. Like, you're not going to be pulling for these, so why should they? But I don't know, I feel like some of these names have the potential to have some really interesting character designs. And I know that some of these characters have a bit of a cult following, especially in the Japanese audience who has gotten to know them for longer. So today I thought I would do some makeovers for these characters. My goal today is to turn these Mob Uma characters into designs that would be fitting for a playable character, and give them the attention and spotlight that maybe they deserve that they don't usually get. So without further ado, why don't we get into the speed paint? The first character I decided to redesign is Arcade Champ. And I mean, come on, that name is so good. Every time I saw it, whenever I was doing a race in the game, I was like, damn, I kind of want to race with her, she sounds cool. And her original outfit is one of the stock ones, obviously. All the stock Uma Musume, I believe they all pull from like the same 5 outfits that exist or something like that. So it's not like her outfit's unique or her design's unique at all, but I thought she's cute. She's got these twin tails, she's got like this starry blue and white little ear decoration on her right ear. And she's wearing like this almost goth-looking default outfit, and honestly, the more I look at it right now, the more crazy it looks. It's like, it's a leotard, but she's also wearing black jorts? Wow, this original outfit sure is something. Anyway, my goal with this was to really take that name and use it as inspiration for the character design. After all, a lot of the actual characters use their names quite a bit. One of my favorite examples being Alcondor Pasa, because she has a Spanish name, she has a very luchador-inspired character design. So with Arcade Champ, I really wanted to make a girl who feels like you could find her in an arcade, who has like a gamer vibe, but also distinctly like a cute anime girl vibe. So I ended up taking her in a direction kind of similar to Ayano from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And Ayano has this great awesome jacket, this big hair, and this boisterous, crazy personality that is totally feral. I don't think Arcade Champ would actually be that feral, I think she's probably just a sweetheart. But I wanted her to have like this 8-bit arcade, like retro video game aesthetic to her, and to wear these like big baggy clothes that I feel like are very distinctive of many people who play video games, including myself. I love wearing baggy clothes, they're so comfy. I tried to give her this nice cool palette aesthetic as well. I really wanted her to just look like she could be from a computer screen. So she's got this blue screen quality, this sort of like, I don't know, I want to say like mid-2000s computer aesthetic, even though that's not necessarily the peak of the arcade era, but I still thought it would be fitting. I also gave her a white highlight in the front of her hair to give her a little bit more of a visual distinction in the front. And I turned her ear decoration into more of a bow because I thought that would be a very cute way to keep that original design but still make it pretty different. I gave her a lot of different cubic elements to try to give that pixel aesthetic to a lot of her outfit. I tried to make it as asymmetrical as possible too, since I feel like a lot of the Uma Musume designs are asymmetrical, and I feel like that's part of what makes so many of them so appealing, at least to someone like me who loves a lopsided character design. So her sleeve accents have different colors, her shoes are ever so slightly mismatched, and her tights are just completely lopsided. I really had a lot of fun trying to figure out ways to make her both look like she's wearing a machine, but also something cozy and easy to run in. I really like when some of the girls have really long sleeves that they run in, like Satono Diamond has those, Agnes Tachyon has those. So I thought she would be one of those kinds of character designs where she just wears these huge chunky sleeves and is able to run in it despite all the drag it would probably cause. And of course I had to keep those cute pigtails that she has in her basic design. After all, it's one of the very few things in her character design that we have to go after. And yeah, this is just a very fun design. I had fun trying to figure out how to go about rendering everything. I wanted it to obviously still look like in my own style, but look like it's still influenced by the Uma Musume art, so I did a lot of airbrushing style quality with the color blending to really make it look like it's a 3D model render. And just because they use a lot of great things like that in the Uma Musume designs anyway. They look a little more slick and smooth rather than the usual painterly aesthetic I go with for my character designs. I also tried to make these lightly shaded, like they're not fully rendered out illustrations here, but they do have some shadows and some highlights to give them that extra bit of polish, so that way they don't just look like flat character illustrations, but instead like full-on gacha renders, or at least something close to that. Honestly, Arcade Champ's probably my favorite of the batch today, but that's probably just because I have a soft spot for blue designs that are strange and asymmetrical. So go ahead and check her out, and let me know if you would want to pull her if she was an actual playable character. Next up, we have a character called Spring Happy, and she is actually so much of an obscure mob Uma Musume that on the website I've been looking at, she doesn't seem to have her own page. She literally only exists as a single entry on a list of characters that appear in a race. And I don't know, her name is just like, it really struck with me. Like, it feels like it evokes such a good aesthetic. It reminds me a little bit of like Happy Meek and how she's got like that springy design, obviously. And her color palette in the one screenshot that they provided is kind of cool. I kind of like the like springtime yellow and green aesthetic. I thought it was really cool. I ended up deviating from it when I started doing the design on my own, but I just thought she was really neat. And even though we have very, very, very little for me to go off of for my research here, I still thought she would be fun. I tried to give her like, I don't know, this dreamy, about to fall asleep sort of quality. I wanted her to feel like she's sleepy and mellow and chill. Like if Arcade Champ's an energetic little gamer, then maybe Spring Happy is a little bit more similar in personality to a character like Grass Wonder, who's a little more relaxed, but knows how to lock in when it's necessary. I tried to give her like more accents in her hair, since her hair color is very similar to her skin color in the original design, and I didn't want it to get too lost, so I ended up choosing to darken up the hair a little bit and add some more like red/pinkish accents towards the end to give it a somewhat floral flavor that felt spring-like to me. Her design in her clothing is supposed to look like a big flower petal, since I thought that would be very cute for the spring aesthetic, and on her right ear I gave her an ear covering with a flower design to really hammer in the flowers are spring sort of quality here. I also gave her these fun little tights with these little garters, since a lot of the girls wear garters, and I think they make them look so cool and sporty in these designs, so I wanted her to reflect that aspect that I really like from the character designs. And I put a floral pattern on there to give it a little bit more noise, a little bit more texture to this design, and it just, again, enhances that sort of tablecloth for a tea party aesthetic I was kind of going for this entire design. She really gave me a bit of trouble while I was working on her, but I'm really happy with it. I feel like she could host like a very wonderful little tea party. I think she would get along great with other girls. And I think her hair is so funny. I love when the Uma Musume girls have like a short haircut, but secretly in the back there is this huge long piece of hair that's like a ponytail or something. I don't know why so many of them have that, but I think it's so funny and very fun to look at. So she has a little bit of that going on. not quite as egregious as something like Vodka or Econodictus, but it still looks really nice. I tried to give her these, like, light-colored eyes, too, to make it really look like she has a half-asleep, otherworldly, soft quality to her. Like, she's a little bit aloof, she's zoning out a little bit. And I think I managed to hit that vibe with her here, and I think she came out pretty cute. So let me know if she was a real character, would you pull for Spring Happy? And last but certainly not least, we have Keyboard Rhythm. Keyboard Rhythm was probably one of the first names that I picked to draw for this video, and she was one of the first characters that I saw in-game, and I was like, damn, that name's really good, I really wish this was an actual character. So I went for it. I am myself a piano player, so I guess I just wanted to see my own instrument represented in a character. There is certainly no shortage of Uma Musume characters who are based on music. You've got ones like TM Opera O, or Sounds of Earth, for example, and probably many others that I'm just not remembering right now. But I think it's so fun that they can really take their name and just really go crazy. I tried to give her lots of black and white elements to her design to really give that piano feel. I made her gloves and her shoes mismatched, kind of like the way like many of the characters have mismatched gloves and shoes. Which, I did some research while doing this video. Apparently it's to match the little, like, white fur markings that the actual horses have, which is so cute. Like, that's so fun. It's their little peats that they base their design on. And I just thought that was really charming. I think the mismatched black and white aesthetic also hammers in that piano keyboard vibe. It really makes her feel like, I don't know, there's some implied movement that comes with asymmetry that I think is really nice. I tried to give her skirt like this nice sash sort of design with the keyboard on it. I tried to incorporate lots of stripes wherever I could, and I ended up making her main color red. Her original color palette is like this spring green with this purple, which is a very common one that I see a lot when I play the game. But I ended up feeling like it just didn't fit her, and I wanted something that called back to her hair color a little bit more. So I went with a nice warm, predominantly red color palette. And plus, red, black, and white just, they go together so well. I feel like they're an iconic little combination of colors. And I had a lot of fun with her. I tried to make her look like she would be like a sassy, more competitive type character. I feel like there are quite a few of those in the game, like, who just are obsessed with trying to be the king of everybody and just beating everyone's ass. And she is definitely the kind of character that I would imagine would do that if she had main character energy, if she was like a real Uma Musume. So I tried to give her that vibe. I thought that would be a lot of fun. I feel like a lot of the performing arts-based girlies are like crazy and kooky and a little bit full of themselves, which you gotta be at least like 1% full of yourself to do some performance. That's like the only way you can get over stage fright, in my opinion. I mean, I don't hate my voice, which is why I'm able to record things like this, so I bet if she were a musician and a racer, she would be just completely insufferable in a way that I think is very charming for a character to be. So let me know if Keyboard Rhythm was a real character. Would you pull for her? Would you like her? I think she's a lot of fun, and I think she's just so sassy looking. And with that, that's all the art I've got for you guys today, so thank you all so much for watching. Let me know which one of these designs was your favorite, which one of these girls would you pull for if she was a real character? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, if you would like to support me, why not check out my Ko-fi page? Over there you can check out my commissions, my shop, you can follow my blog for ideally more than once in a few months updates, but I got a little slow this summer since I was a little busy. You can also support me monthly to get things like perks and free downloads and other things like that. Plus, it helps my life stay a little bit more stable since it makes it a lot easier for me to dedicate more time to art if I'm making a little bit more money on it. If you would like to get some physical merch from me, why not check out my Palm Street store? On there, I sell things like pins, stickers, charms, original paintings, and more. I'm planning to do an event with some mini Mothman paintings at some point in the next few weeks, so go follow me on my Palm Street so you don't miss that event. And even if you just want to hang out for the stream and not buy anything, I appreciate the company, so please consider following me over there. And with that, that's all that I've got for you guys today, so thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all again next week with another art video, and in the meantime, why don't you all go out there and make some art?